Right, next up we're going to look at the text. Now, as you can see here, I've duplicated my image and I've put it on the second and the fourth square. That's leaving two for me. I've done that intentionally. So on the left hand one, I'm going to have my message, and on the right hand one, I'm going to have something that explains to people what they can do to help. So in this left hand one, we're going to have to create a text box to begin with. So let's go to the T. Now, I'm going to drag a text box and I'm going to make it inside the shape of this square. So I'm going to start it from about here, and I'm making sure it's not going right up to the edges, because that will mean that the text will go right to the edges, and that's not what I want. Now, bearing in mind, I can still change this text box and move it in the future. Now, I'm going to start by putting my text to the center. I'm going to change this size to about size 12 to see how it does, and I've already picked my font called Gwisk, so make sure you have a look through and identify a suitable font for you. Now, my message, I'm just going to type in. Okay, so orcas need space to survive. That's what I wanted to put in there. And at the moment you'll see obviously that this is quite dark. Now I'm just going to hit enter and move this down a couple of times, because actually that makes it quite central. And I'm still not entirely happy with it because the color just isn't right. So I'm just going to switch this to white, and that's quite easy to do. I can just click up here on my color and change that. Now that's much better, I can see that, and to be honest, I quite like how simple that is. Now I'm going to go to my move tool and I'm just going to check that that is in the right place. I'm going to move it around. Now you can see a little pink line appear when I move this, and that's made it central to that image next to it. Now to see these pink guidelines, you need to go to View, and then you need to go to Show, and you need to just click on Smart Guides, and that will just help you line things up. Now I'm happy with how that looks, but let's say I did want to add some effects to that layer. Obviously I just double click on the space, and then from here I can now add in anything. Okay, so I could do a bevel and emboss to make it slightly 3D. I could do a stroke, perhaps put some black or something around the edge of it. And just remember, when you're using the effect options, you need to actually click the word so that it highlights in blue. If it doesn't highlight in blue, then you're not going to see the actual effect options. So I could use a stroke here, and actually I do think that does look quite good. So I'm going to leave it and click OK. So that's looking quite nice. I still think I could probably make the text a little bit bigger. So I'm going to double click on my T, and I'm going to come up here and I'm just going to make that size 14, and I still think that works, and actually I think that's going to be a nice size. So back to my move tool, and this time I'm just going to use the arrow keys to make sure that I get that where I want it to be. So that's looking quite nice for me. So there's my message, and I've got that on there.